You touched, I think, on your experience, as when you explained actually what you were doing there in
Yeah,
Namibia. You touched somewhere you spoke about auditing, and I know that, within the accounting fraternity, there are many branches, that people go to, taxation or auditing or via the banks and everything like that when coming to training and stuff. So
sure.
let's put the two here. Let's put the auditing and let's put the banks. Which
Sure.
ones are the best place for training? As in,
You wanna get me fired now? I can hear you wanna get me fired.
no, we'll
Um,
censor that
I don't.
out.
Yeah. So I don't wanna talk. I don't wanna create. I don't wanna talk under the umbrella of best. I would rather say what options are there, right?
Sure.
In that when you're a bank or in a banking environment, your experience is very like vastly different from what an auditor does on a daily basis. So ordinarily as an auditor, you are auditing what has happened in the past, right?
Mm.
By definition. So I think probably 90% of the work that one does in an auditing environment is looking at the past and just making sure that things are okay and that what has been reported is proper. Or rather, not what has been reported, but what is going to be reported is solid. So ordinarily, as an auditor, you would be assigned different lines. You would be going to those lines, having those client engagements, engaging with the CEOs, the CFOs of the businesses, the financial managers, wherein you go there and you basically ask them questions about the business. You learn how their businesses operate so that you can actually get a good and informed um, I guess, understanding of what has happened in the past year, where the business is, so that when you look at the numbers, you kind of can make sense of them. Whereas, yeah, on the other side, there is also the part of client engagements as well, which is the banking side. Let me actually rather start here. So, ordinarily, as a banker, what my experience at NetBank has been was that you are kind of treated as an equal employee day one. Like I said, I went to Namibia, and already when I was landing there, I was an IFRS advisor. I was an equal member of the team. They understood that there's some corporate vibe kind of things that they still need to teach me. But as far as competence is concerned, as far as being able to deliver, and as far as my conduct, my commitment to the work, my work ethic is concerned, they're expecting me to operate as a fully fledged member of the team. So they can say, Gwena, there's this matter, go deal with it. And I would then go and say, okay, fine, do my own investigations, basically lead the story. Um, Whereas my experience, and this is purely my experience in the auditing arrangement, because as a person in banking as well, you also get an experience or exposure in the auditing environment. So at NetBank, I would actually go for 3 months to an audit firm and actually be an auditor, right? So literally at NetBank, when you go when you are lent out, or well, that's such a bad word. When you are seconded to that audit firm, in your first month you are treated as a first year. Your second month you're a second year. The third month you're a third year audit trainee. That's literally the practice. So you need to be at a point where you can do what a third year does by the time you're in your third month. And that puts a lot of pressure on you. Obviously, the learning curve is quite steep. But I guess my point here is, as an auditor, you kind of also have to go through those grooming stages, and that's been my experience. Whereas when you are in a bank, it's almost as if you are expected to come in and run with things. There will be a lot of mentoring where necessary, but um, you are given the option to run with things. Let me rather use those words, right? So yeah, be it client engagements, be it requests, dealing with requests. When I was in property finance, for example, my senior associate would get a request. Somebody says, hi, I need 100 million to build a mall or to build a shopping center. Then as that email comes in, my senior associate would literally push it to my email box and say, Kwena, here's a request. And then I would then do all the digging, all the scraping and everything, get the deal together, go present it, like literally see it through. So you are, and that was me in second year. That's last year. So yeah, the experiences are a bit different, and ordinarily our work is more future based, and well, it's present and future based work. So what I mean by that is we do consider what has happened in the past as far as financials are concerned, where the business is from a performance perspective, but most of the time our when we grant credit as it makes sense, you would also want to look at the potential of this person. When I give you money now, I borrow you 100 rands, I want to make sure that you can pay it tomorrow, not that you can pay it today. Can you are you going to be able to pay it tomorrow? So by default, being in a bank would then also require you to work to live in the future a bit, to kind of assess things that would happen in the future. Where would this business be? Would they be able to pay it back? How are their forecasts looking like? All of those kinds of things. So you could kind of box it in two to say auditors tend to focus a little bit more on what has happened and why it has happened and all of that, whereas bankers tend to look more into how is this looking in 5 years time, how is this looking in the next year, 3 years, or if there is a short-term request, what has happened, right? So with the looting, for example, um as people are banning your shop or are banning your stock or whatever, or they are taking your stuff away, those people would then come running to their funders. Those clients would come running to their funders to say, hey, I had stock worth 100,000 rands in the shop, it's gone. Kwena, please approve for me an overdraft facility for 200,000 rands. You know, well, we work more in millions, but you hear what I'm saying.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just making the point that as things happen in the country, in the economy,
Yeah.
they directly affect our clients, and that directly affects my daily life. Then in turn.
I hope I don't get you fired, after asking
Okay,
such
go on.
questions. So I don't actually now affect your future prospect jobs that are. But I think what I'm getting from here, I think at the end of the day, for me, the way I view it and the way I view the world, I always view the world from a balanced perspective. And I
Sure.
think in the business space, like you've said, or like you've actually alluded to the two auditors looking at what has happened in the past, and the banking looking more futuristically. You can say the banking is more kind of in the same basket as the actuarist because they are sort of looking
Sure.
ahead, and
Sure.
mitigating risk and all of those type of things. I think we still need
Sure.
both of them for a balanced business environment because I still think and I believe that, the whole sector, I mean, the whole accounting sector, it's almost like you guys are the backbone of the economy.